Take a look at this. An ordinary plastic bottle. In everyday life, it's just trash you wouldn't even notice. But in a survival situation, it's a valuable tool. If you find one, consider yourself lucky. The first and most obvious use for a bottle is, of course, as a container for water or any other liquid. Blech, boring and too obvious. So let's skip straight to the advanced hacks. Number 1, filtration. In the wild or in a post-apocalyptic world, drinking from the first puddle you see means, at best, a very memorable evening in the bushes with diarrhea. And at worst, well, never mind. So let's turn the bottle into a primitive filter. Cut off the bottom and pack it in layers: fabric, sand, crushed charcoal from the fire. Then fill it with dirty water. Relatively clear water will start dripping from the bottle's neck. This will not make the water sterile. It will only remove branches, sand, and larvae. Remember, this is just a prelude. After filtering, you must boil the water. And yes, you can do this right in the plastic bottle, as long as you keep it over hot coals and not in direct flames. The water absorbs the heat and the bottle won't melt. Still, don't push your luck if you have other options. Number 2, distillation. If making a fire is a problem, or you don't want to attract attention, there's another option: solar distillation. You'll need 2 bottles. In ideal conditions, you'd connect them with a tube, but you can also just join them neck to neck. Secure them with tape, cloth, anything. The only thing that matters is that it doesn't fall apart. Pour dirty water into one bottle and place it in the sun. Keep the second bottle empty and hide it in the shade. Bury it slightly. Cover it with foil or a wet cloth. The sun evaporates the moisture, and the cold forces it to condense into clean drops inside the empty bottle. Slow, very slow, but extremely safe. Number 3, plastic rope. Few people realize that a bottle is also a roll of incredibly strong tape. If you cut it into a spiral, into strips just a few millimeters wide, you get a cord that doesn't rot and can hold a decent amount of weight. To make it, you'll need something sharp: a knife, scissors, a shard of glass, or, in the worst case, a can lid. But the cool part is that this plastic is heat shrinkable. Wrap it around a joint between sticks, gently heat it over a fire, and the structure locks solid. Nanotechnology from a trash bin. Number 4, foot warmer. And now my favorite hack. A night in the forest is always a test for your toes. Just pour hot water into the bottle, seal it tightly, and drop it by your feet for the night. When your heels are warm, life doesn't seem quite so bad. Well, at least for now. If plastic is the basics, metal is your transition into the Iron Age. A tin can, your personal cooking pot, lamp, and, if you're unlucky, a reason to learn how to stitch wounds. Number 1, mini cooking pot. First and most important, boiling water. Unlike a plastic bottle, a tin can can be placed right into the fire. This is your universal pot. Water, pine needle tea, or some suspicious stew made from whatever you manage to catch. All of it becomes edible here. One important detail: look for a proper steel can. Thin aluminum soda cans will burn through quickly. Oh yeah, one more thing. Before using it, burn off or scrape off the inner coating as thoroughly as possible. You need calories, not a cocktail of plastic and paint. Number 2, alcohol burner. Next comes light and heat. You can turn a tin can into a simple lamp by filling it with any fuel: fat, oil, or pine resin. Insert a wick made from a strip of fabric or rope. The fuel travels up the wick and burns. Basically the same principle as a regular candle. This setup burns for a long time, doesn't care much about wind, and gives enough light so you don't confuse a tree with a bear. If you have several cans, it's almost romantic. Number 3, cutter and scraper. A tin can is also a surprisingly good tool. The lid or the edge of an open can is sharp, like your jokes. Use it. A bent strip of metal becomes an improvised knife. You can clean fish, sharpen a steak for a trap, or strip bark. No, it's not Damascus steel, but it's better than nothing. Just remember, one careless move and you'll gain an extra hole in your body. Work carefully. Bandages are not handed out in the forest. And now, a bonus: charcoal heater. Punch a couple of air holes in a tin can, fill it with hot coals, and wrap it with wire. You get a portable heater you can take into your shelter. It holds heat longer than an open flame, doesn't smoke, and doesn't try to burn your shelter down along with you. If you find a thick 60-liter polyethylene trash bag, consider it a jackpot. That's about 50 grams of pure functionality that can save your life in a dozen different ways. Number 1, protection. The most obvious use is as a rain poncho. Cut holes for your head and arms, put it on, and voila, you're dry. In survival, dry almost always means alive. The bag works as a barrier against wind and water. If you have a second bag, pull it over your backpack. Wet, spare socks and matches are not what you want to see at sunset. You can even make improvised gaiters by wrapping bags around your feet over your socks, but under your boots. This keeps your feet dry when crossing swampy terrain. Number 2, water collection. If there's no stream nearby, the bag becomes a low-tech distillation unit. Yes, exactly. Let me explain. Find a tree or bush with dense green leaves, if you can. Place the bag over a branch and tie it tightly at the base. The sun makes the leaves sweat, a process called transpiration. Moisture condenses on the inside of the bag and collects in the lower corner. In a day, you can gather anywhere from a glass to half a liter of clean distilled water. The key is choosing safe plants. Otherwise, your watering hole may turn into a problem very quickly. The bag is also perfect for collecting rainwater. Lay it out in a shallow depression in the ground, and any moisture from the sky becomes your personal reserve. Number 3, insulation. The most dangerous enemy at night is the cold ground. It acts like a giant radiator, sucking heat out of you. Simply lying on a bag won't help much, but if you stuff it with dry leaves, moss, or grass, you get a real mattress. The trapped air creates insulation. If the bag is large enough, you can crawl inside and use it as a bivy sack. This instantly raises the temperature inside by several degrees, thanks to your own breath and body heat. A critical warning for Darwin Award candidates. Never cover your face with the bag. Lack of oxygen will turn your shelter into a plastic coffin.
No! Terrible, awful.
Number 4, signaling and storage. If you're lucky enough to find a bright colored bag, it becomes a perfect signal for rescuers. A piece of bright plastic tied to the top of a tree is visible for miles. The rest of the time, use it to organize your camp. Hang food in the tree so rodents don't eat it, or fill the bag with air and use it as an airtight pillow. Cardboard and paper seem like the most useless trash. They hate moisture, tear easily, and burn in seconds. But if you use your head, this junk turns into effective insulation and even more. Number 1, sleeping mat. As mentioned earlier, the cold ground is your main enemy. You can build a great warm shelter, but if you lie directly on the soil, you'll freeze very quickly. Cardboard is a decent substitute for a sleeping mat. Corrugated cardboard traps air in its cells, creating a thermal barrier. If you're lucky enough to find old, dry boxes, flatten them and lay them out in several layers. This creates a buffer between you and the ground that keeps your body heat in. And if you also have a glossy magazine or a stack of newspapers, use them as insoles or wrap them around your lower legs under your pants. Layers of paper work almost like membrane clothing. They block wind and retain heat. Glossy paper is especially good because it absorbs moisture more slowly. Number 2, paper thermos. If you need to keep water hot or cold, use paper as insulation. A bottle tightly wrapped in several layers of dry paper and placed inside an old sock or bag holds its temperature about 1.5 to 2 times longer. Air trapped between the layers prevents heat exchange with the environment. It's simple physics that lets you have warm tea 3 hours after leaving the fire. In serious survival, silence equals safety. If your backpack rattles with pots, cans, or tools, you scare off potential prey and attract the kind of attention you don't want. Fill the empty spaces between hard objects with crumpled paper or pieces of cardboard. This removes unnecessary noise. And in the evening, your paper supplies will help you start a fire. If plastic is a throwaway, glass is almost professional equipment. It doesn't melt from heat, isn't afraid of harsh environments, and, when handled correctly, turns into a whole toolkit. Number 1, fire starting. If you're out of matches and a lighter, but you have a clear glass bottle and the sun, all is not lost. Fill the bottle with clean water, and it will act as a powerful convex lens. Your task is to catch a sunbeam and focus it into the smallest, brightest point on your tinder, dry moss, shredded bark, or char cloth. Water and glass refract the rays, concentrating their energy in one spot. The method requires patience and a steady hand. And remember, the cleaner the water and the clearer the glass, the better. Dirty water scatters light instead of focusing it. Number 2, boiling water. To sterilize water, fill the bottle and place it near the fire. Important, don't throw it directly into the flames. Sudden temperature changes or internal pressure can turn it into a fragmentation grenade. Place it on heated stones or next to hot coals. The water will boil more slowly than in a metal pot, but it will be safe. Plus, glass retains heat well, so after boiling, you'll have an excellent heat pack that you can wrap in cloth and toss into your sleeping bag. Number 3, shards as tools. If the bottle breaks, don't panic. Now you've got a full set of surgical and carpentry tools. A large shard with a straight edge makes a perfect knife for cleaning fish or slicing meat. Just be extremely careful. One wrong move, and you'll turn from a survivor into a patient who urgently needs a bandage. Always wrap the part of the shard you're holding with leather or thick fabric. No matter what happens to the world or to you, you can always find at least a couple of stones or fragments of old masonry. If you find them, consider it a solid upgrade. Beyond the obvious use of stone as a hammer or weight, there are a few techniques that take what you can do with stone to the next level. Number 1, heat accumulator. The main superpower of stone or brick is heat capacity. They heat up slowly and give off heat just as slowly. Heat several stones in a fire, don't overdo it, and when you're ready to sleep, roll them out of the fire, let them cool slightly, and wrap them in any available fabric. Place them by your feet, under your back, wherever you want, really. This creates a stove-like effect that gently warms you for several hours. Number 2, cooking stone. If you don't have a pan, don't rush to cook meat directly on the coals. You'll just get a chunk of charcoal with an ash flavor. Find the flattest stone you can, heat it thoroughly in the fire, and clean the surface. On such a stone, you can bake flatbread, fry meat, or cook fish. Heat distributes evenly. The food doesn't touch open flames and stays juicy. One golden rule: never take stones from water or riverbeds. Moisture trapped inside porous stone turns into steam when heated, and the stone can explode. Only use dry, land-based stones. Number 3, drying gear. Anyone who's tried drying boots directly over a fire knows how it ends. Holes or melted soles. Fire's too aggressive. Once again, stone saves the day. Place wet boots or socks near a hot stone. Or better yet, put small, moderately heated stones inside the boots. They draw moisture out from the inside without damaging the material. This is the most gentle way to restore your gear. And finally, rope. No one needs convincing how useful rope is. If you have even a few meters of strong cord, paracord, or even tape braided from plastic bottles, you stop being just some guy in the woods and become an engineer. Number 1, carrying loads. With a system of loops and proper knots, you can build an improvised pack frame or carrying rig from branches. Rope helps you haul firewood or a container of filtered water. A simple sliding loop or backpack knot lets you secure anything that doesn't fit in your pockets to your belt or back. Proper weight distribution saves your joints from premature wear and saves you from falling on uneven trails. Number 2, traps. When your energy is running low and chasing a rabbit with a stick seems questionable, traps take over. Rope is the heart of any snare trap. Find a young, flexible birch tree, bend it to the ground, and secure it with a simple trigger made from 2 hooked sticks. This is called a toggle. One end of the loop goes on the trigger, the loop itself sits on the trail. The animal touches the stick, the trigger releases, and voila! Your dinner is hanging there, waiting for you. Set on a narrow animal path or at the entrance to a burrow, such a trap works 24 hours a day while you sleep or build camp. Number 3, fastening. Everything wants to fall apart, break, or blow away in the wind. Rope is your universal glue. Need to fix a torn backpack strap? Rope. Need to tie a knife to a long stick to make a spear for defense or fishing? Rope. But most importantly, building shelter. Without reliable knots, your lean-to is just a pile of sticks waiting to collapse in the first gust of wind. Proper lashing turns 2 unstable poles into a solid structure. You can hang food high so bears can't reach it, or build improvised stretchers if one of your companions injures a leg. This is the one item that always feels insufficient, no matter how much of it you carry.